So you guys don't notice on my bobblehead, I'm carrying a little tiny glass of wine. That's really exciting. How's everybody doing? Listen, this is gonna be short, sweet, fun, interactive. Are you in? Good. I was like, please say yes. Please don't freak me out. All right, so in theme of the human experience, how to build your tribe in your community. And I don't even mean your tribe, like your own personal tribe, right? Who's in? Does that sound great? Like people you really actually like a lot. I got like one clap. You guys like working with crappy people, huh? So how do you do that? And what is that? That means to transact well with others or interact with people. So when you transact and work with people at a higher level, you're actually teaching them how to work with you and how you work best. You're also elevating your surroundings, not levitating, elevating your surroundings and everybody that's around you, which is also super, super win-win. And hopefully, everybody's gonna play well in the sandbox, which doesn't always happen, especially right now. How's everybody feeling in the last week on Facebook? It is a war zone out there lately, right? So we need some happy. And what you don't want is what the original name of this talk was, how to not transact like an asshat. I don't know why I think asshat's like the funniest phrase. And I use it because I actually have a story of someone who is a complete asshat. And I will tell that, and it's gonna be fun. It's super juicy, actually, so I'm gonna wait on that one. So the biggest thing you need to learn when you are going to start building your own community is that time is money. And I put a duh on there, right? Because it does seem like it's the most obvious thing, super simple, but man, we can complicate the hell out of it when it comes to time. So my big thing is I guard my time like a Brinks truck, right? I am so much about how much time is this gonna take me, and I also guard everybody else's time too, which makes them like me more because they know I'm not gonna waste it, right? I also think time is such a huge commodity. One, you can save it, you can't get it back. And I find it so valuable. It's like duct tape and an armored truck during a zombie apocalypse, right? That's some serious ass value. By the way, I've managed to sneak in a zombie apocalypse reference in the last 3 talks that I've done. I'm feeling pretty darn good about myself. Just saying, random, right? So the next thing, we talk about time. The next thing that you need to do is you gotta clean your shiz up. So I'm gonna strong talk you a little bit. It's gonna be fun, but you gotta get your shit together, okay? So, sorry, there are swear words. Was there any family members here? I think everybody's been warned not to bring their kids, at least when I'm on stage. Drink to that. So by the way, the drinking game is gonna be the word time, okay? Everybody in? Cheers, by the way. Do you guys enjoy today? Let's get boozy. All right, so the first thing, seriously, now you know why there's a wine glass on my bobblehead. I literally have built a brand out of drinking and driving, but separately, just so you know. The car company's probably like, oh my God, take that Nissan back. So your elevator pitch and your handle, and I believe that it was Angus that brought up elevator pitch earlier. So you know what the elevator pitch is, right? What is it? Somebody yell it out for me. What's your elevator pitch? Or what does it mean? Yep. In the time of a short elevator ride, you got to thrill and really get somebody going on you. It's kind of like, what's that called? Shark Tank on crack, right? You got your whole line going, you got the whole thing going. So that's one thing you need to have, because think about it today. You guys have been talking with people, reuniting, meeting new people, and a lot of times they really can't narrow it down, and I think Angus talked about that earlier, exactly what it is they do. Now the other thing that I love is called the handle. And I learned this from a group, it was a networking group I went to, and they said, give me the handle that I can carry you around easily. So think about something that's really heavy and unwieldy and you're just trying to get it and you're like, ugh, it doesn't have a handle. It sucks, right? You can't carry it. If something's sleek, light, and it's got a really nifty handle on it, you're like, here you go, and you can hand it off. So what that is something really easy that you can tell somebody what it is you do. Here's mine. I'm Mia Voss, luxury travel writer and brand ambassador for women over 40 who love kick-ass adventure. And P.S., women make over 85% of the buying decisions. Ladies. Thank you. You know we do. So that's my quick little explanation. It tells you what I do. Now, it doesn't tell you how I do it, but at least gives you something to say, hey, this is what Mia does. So I'm going to talk about that a little bit, but those are two things you need to get tightened up right so you can quickly and easily say it. Because who was talking about 5-second commercials on, you guys were talking about 5-second commercials on YouTube. You can't even handle that, right? So you got to get your line in there quickly. The next is your superpower and your kryptonite. So everybody talks about superpowers, right? Nobody wants to talk about kryptonite. You got to have both of those out there, and you need to understand what it is that lights you up, that you can make money. You lose time while you're doing it, right? How awesome is that? Usually not taxes, right? Doing your taxes or going through receipts, but you find that thing that you really, really like. On the flip side, your kryptonite, the thing that you dread, it's like root canal and a pap smear all in one, right? Cannot stand it. I said it. I got your attention. It's late in the day. I got to say something to get you going. That's awful, right? That just sounds like an awful combination, but that is your kryptonite. Now, let me give you an example. What is one person's superpower is another person's kryptonite. Mike Alton's superpower is my kryptonite, and that's writing. Mike just wrote a blog post while I've been standing up here, haven't you, Mike? You're going to see him tomorrow. That is my kryptonite. Now, the irony is I'm a travel writer, right? Ugh. So what I've done to kind of supersede my kryptonite is I use live streaming video. I use social stories, and I do that as a part of it. And I take people real time on my adventures rather than waiting to put a blog post out, right? So the pressure's not on me. I still write a blog post, but I get somebody to help me. So when you have your superpower and your kryptonite, and you know both of those, you're going to find somebody in a really, really perfect world. Their kryptonite is your superpower, and they're going to pay you to take care of that, and it's going to light you up. So always know that, and don't be afraid to say that. Don't be afraid to share like, ooh, can't stand it. They're going to know somebody who actually likes to do what you really don't like. Your client audience or your avatar, and I believe that was also mentioned earlier too. So this is important to know too. Like when somebody says, you get this a lot, hey, how can I help you? How can I help you push your business forward? If you don't have an answer for that and a quick answer, listen, these are the kind of people I work with. I work with first-time home buyers who are just relocating into Denver or something like that, like really, really specific. Always have that so you can tell people quickly. We all know somebody, right? On the flip side, you also need to have, or on the same note, you need to have what I call your genie in a bottle client or audience, right? So if somebody, and I've said that to people when they'll tell me who they're working with now. And that's maybe not making a lot of money, right? It could be like, well, I'm working with people who are sort of flat ass broke. And you're like, no, rub the genie lamp and tell me what you want to come out of that. What would that be? And think really, really big, okay? Always have that. I'm a really big believer in the power of the universe and putting out intention. And if you're working with, once you get this audience and this your whole new tribe in your community, they're going to be the kind of people that maybe have connections like that. Does anybody want to tell me what their genie lamp connection wish list, who they want to meet? Anybody? Throw somebody out. Nobody. What? Oprah, I love it. Heck yeah. Anybody else? Yes, he's always Gary Vaynerchuk. Oprah was the first one. Yes, ma'am. Terry. What? Oh, we got lucky. She's on my list. If anybody wants to meet Denise Wakeman, I can hook you up. I'm just telling you. Yeah, she's amazing. Yeah, so there you go. That's the perfect one. I absolutely love her. Mine are, I would love to meet Mel Robbins. She's the woman that wrote the 5-second rule. Yes, absolutely love her. I'm going to be starting a podcast called Shit We Don't Talk About, and I think Mel Robbins would be a perfect person for that. And if anybody has a really incendiary topic they want to have on my podcast, please bring it on. So I also would love to meet Dave Grohl from the Foo Fighters so I can jam out with him. So if anybody knows Dave Grohl, I'm just saying. So think about that. When you put those kind of things out there and you have it in your head, and instead of having to fumble to think about it, you're literally putting it forefront, okay? And then the fourth thing you want to make sure you have is your ask. And again, that is anything, if somebody says, oh, what's going on with you? You're like, hey, I'm going to be working on this fundraiser. We need some sponsors. Always have that out there as well. If somebody asks you, again are not thinking of it until later. manifestation, you got it top of mind, okay? So those are the 4 things you gotta get your shiz together and clean that up, because then you will be ready to receive your new community and your tribe. Look how this is working. I'm loving this. All right, so let's talk about what you are gonna do to build your perfect community. Oh, drink, everybody, because that's our other drink word. The other way you're gonna do that, I'm gonna talk in terms of dating and romance. Not the swipe right, swipe left kind. I think Damien brought it up earlier, but true connection. And how do you do that to connect with your perfect community? Think in terms, again, of romance. Foster the people. I love that phrase. And romance the people that you meet. Let's say you meet somebody today. You're really, really interested in what they do. Think about when you first started dating and you're all up in their business, especially if social media was around. You're like, ooh, what do they do? You're like gently stalking on the Facebook, checking out Twitter, seeing what they're interested in, right? It's that romance kind of mentality. And you really want to think of that. So then also when you meet somebody, again, like you're going to meet a bunch of people today and tomorrow, you're going to go back, you want to engage, you're going to get on all their social platforms. Go follow them. I love that. Absolutely. Even if you're not using Twitter, go follow them on Twitter. All of the things that you can find on their website are on their Facebook page. And then, definitely engage with their content, okay? Go say hi, great to meet you, send that off to them. And the last one, stop trying to get to second base so quickly. You know what that means? Like, stop just trying to stab them with your business card or your business and say, oh, I want, here, buy my product. Romance them. I don't want to make out with you yet, okay? So I want you to convince me why it is what you do, which I have. I like Mike Alton chuckling back there. At least I'm getting everybody entertained. But what I want to do is I really want to believe in what you do. And if you're trying to force me into this quick, move too fast situation, so think in those terms, okay? And that's going to build, because this is always a lot of the really, really powerful connections that I have and really close besties, and a lot of them are here today. It took a while for all of us to get into that rhythm. So. All right, so with that, I talked about, connecting online and in person. So the next thing will probably make some of you cringe, but it is taking things a step slower, and that's just setting a phone date. Talking about time, drink, that's my other one. I'll drink for you later. Talking about saving time, rather than, a lot of times what happens is you spend a lot of time out there setting appointments. So when you say, oh, let's get together, you're not making something really intentional, but somebody says, hey, we should just get together and just have a chat and find out what each one of you is doing. That, when you start adding that up, that's a huge amount of time, especially if you want to go looking like this. If I got to get this going on, and then I got to get in my car, and I got to drive, and I got to go park, and the whole thing, that's a lot of time I could be doing revenue generating activities, right? So what you want to do is get on the phone. So you set a phone date, you can do a video call. If you really, now, okay, of course, if you're a doctor, you probably do need to show up, okay? But if you're somebody that's a consultant or a coach, just say, I want to jump on the phone with you for 15 minutes. Set a hard stop time, set that date, have your handle, though I talked about, so you can easily hand off, this is what I do, have your avatar, your client in mind, and a give, right? Now, sometimes that could be that you have went and checked out their social media beforehand, and you say, hey, I saw you're doing some volunteering with Junior Achievement, or I saw that you just got a new house. So you have these things to give to people that you've been actively paying attention, romancing, you're interested in them. They may want to make out with you, who knows, over the phone, okay? So then there's think outside the box. And now I think of Damien now, and I think of think outside of the box. Think outside the box is in two different things. One is that even if it's somebody that could not be, that you probably wouldn't do business with, you still maybe want to talk to them because they could be valuable for other people in your community. So I don't have children, but if I wanted to meet with somebody who has a baby store or has something to do with kids, my boyfriend has kids, my friend have kids, so that could be a valuable thing that I could find out what their business does and hand them off with the easy handle as a recommendation to someone else. And then the other thing outside the box is if you feel like you do need to meet people in person, go mobile office at a coffee shop or at a library and hold court and just say, I'm taking appointments, I've got 15-minute appointments, does that make sense? And then just boom, 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 line up a bunch of people Leave time in between, because then what you can also do, as soon as you get done talking to them and you're able to take notes, you can email them right away, say, hey, it was great to meet with you. Here's what we talked about. I would love to follow up. You're super consistent. You're not waiting until later when you're trying to follow up and everything. So set yourself up. And have you guys heard of time blocking before? Where you say, I'm gonna spend a specific amount of time, which I love, I'm not always good at. I have these it's really high lofty goals to time block a lot, it doesn't always work. But then you can say, I'm gonna set up this certain amount of time and I'm gonna follow up with them. So that's the think outside of the box as well. Because what you don't want, what is this? Death by coffee or wine. Do you know what that means? You can be really, really popular because all you do is go to coffee or meet people and you're flat ass broke. Because you just keep meeting with people and you have these huge amounts of time drink that you haven't actually done revenue generating activities or gotten new clients, and you're just kind of chasing the dragon a little bit and going around. So that is something that you don't want. The other thing you probably don't want, no, I know you don't want, is high cost transactions or interactions, also known as asshattery. There it is. So asshattery, here's my asshat story. So I get a Facebook message from somebody that I've spoken to maybe a couple times. I'd actually met him for coffee a while back, but hadn't heard from him in a while. And I get a note that says, hey, I see you drive cars around all the time. Can you tell me how you got that person to give you cars? Basically, how you got it. Do you have any connections at this car company and this and that? Now, I had not spoken to this person in a long time. There's no way I'm handing off my valuable connections to them just to say, oh, sure, I'll show you what I did. One, because that's called consulting people, right? Who's coach? Who does coaching, consulting here? And you get asked that a lot. It's asking for, shit for free, pretty much. So to me, that is a high cost, low ROI transaction, and you got to cut that out. Absolutely, because you don't want any more of this. These are really bad graphics in the middle, but it's, can I pick your brain? Oh, y'all got to stop saying that. That's my strong talk right now. That is something that I save when somebody, if the only time I would really, really go for that is somebody that's in my community and that I trust, and I'm like, sure, because I know, one, they're gonna do something with it. Two, I know it's gonna come back to me in some way, and if it's not to me, it's somebody that's gonna really benefit, somebody that's in my tribe and in my community. Does that make sense? Stop with the pick your brain, people. I gotta get a better graphic, although I like the brain one on that one. So, and here's what happens. The more you hone your skills and your niche and your expertise, the more you attract those who want your time. Absolutely. So you gotta think big time. Okay, you have valuable stuff. This stuff, it looks easy. You see me on social media. I'm driving some crazy car or going to a resort. That has taken years of trust that I had to build with vendors to say, I know that Mia is gonna do what she says she's gonna do. I know she's gonna put that content out there. It's not easy, and it's work. It is work, absolutely, but it's stuff I love. So just be prepared for that. Think really big that you need to get paid for how awesome you are. Does everybody like that? Get paid for being awesome. So this one's a little woo, and I kind of like it. I said it, your vibe attracts your tribe. And it's really true. When you're putting that out there and you have this, something that people know, one, you're consistent, you're getting things done, they're gonna wanna be a part of your tribe, absolutely. So when you're up there getting on the high vibration, I said vibration, you are gonna get people who are like, what's she drinking? I'll have what she's having, right? So this one I love. And a couple of you know this because you're on my board, the DIY, do it yourself. You can build your own board. It's like Build-A-Bear, but a board. You can be that cool. You can have your own board of directors. And that can be a board of advisors. Board of directors, it's advisors, experts, or influencers. So for me, when I started doing travel blogging 3 years ago, I didn't have a really big audience, but I knew that I could create content that people would want to see. So I had cool friends that had a bigger audience that I knew if I went to them because they trusted me, I could say, hey guys, I'm going on this trip to Italy. Would you be willing to share XYZ for me at these strategic times? And then I went back to my sponsors and said, hey, I've got this, and this people, multiply their numbers, that's my number. right? Not my 5,000 Twitter followers at the time, my 150,000 Twitter followers and this many followers because I added their numbers together, right? And they trust me. Does that make sense? It was brilliant because then people were like, because then they got out to all these different audiences rather than just mine. It was that power, exponential power of numbers. But you can also build advisors, people you really like that you trust. Because let's face it, there's a lot of times people give recommendations or you'll say, hey, do you know so-and-so? And sort of off the cuff, because all you did was see a really positive picture on Facebook, you say, yeah, they seem really great. You got to vet people because then it's going to come back to you that you recommended them if they did something. And so we need to have honest conversations and be honest and recommend people that we really actually have worked with. And that's why I like having this board. I don't have to mess around. I've got everything from accountants, drywallers, people that are in marketing, people that are in social media, that I can easily recommend them, okay? And I seriously, you can build your own and have your own board of experts too. Then when you also have this board of advisors, they can come to you and you can say, hey guys, what do you think about this new program? You can have honest conversations and get honest feedback, right? Like BK sending Fanzo video, comments on his video. And honestly, that's a perfect example of it. You trust him, you know what he does, you know it's gonna be something you go, I can flip that pretty quickly because you know that's somebody that has your best interest in mind. So a couple other things, BK, you like this one, things that make people like you. I like you. It's pretty simple. I said consistency before, but I know these are no-brainers, you guys, but it's a great reminder. Be consistent, follow up, do what you say you're gonna do, send that email, send that information, do it quickly, show up on time. That's huge. Hate to say it, but showing up on time is not as common as you'd like for it to be. So being consistent is always something that people will remember you by. Gratitude is big too. So this one, I'm just gonna put out there, be a cheerleader for the things you love. That is my standard tagline, and that is what I do. So if you get on the phone with somebody and you really like, and you had a great conversation that gave you great information, you can tweet out immediately, I just talked to Ross and he gave me great information about live streaming, and I can tweet that out. That's just me. I don't want anything from it. I tag him on it and I send a funny little goof or something, or a goofy little gif or something like that. The other thing, you guys can all be cheerleaders. You go to a restaurant, you could actually tweet out right now about how great the accommodations are, right? And tag this place, tag Jessica, tag Marketing Now, or Now Marketing, tag anybody. And so just start talking. You can do reviews, Google reviews, Facebook reviews. Think about your favorite dry cleaner, your restaurant that you love. Go do a review for no reason. It really makes people's day. So gratitude is a huge, extremely underrated thing. Give more, take less. Do I need to explain that one? You got it. That's pretty no-brainer. And that's especially when you are, one, really careful with your time. You have more time to be consistent, give gratitude, give more, take less, and then feeling valued. So this is kind of my pro tip about this as far as my team, my board of advisors. The one thing that they trust is that when I give them a recommendation, they know I have vetted them. The other big tip that I have for you, just the tip, I had to say it, is ask the persons. Let's say I come to you and I say, hey, I really want to meet so-and-so. Do you know them? Yes, you know them. And then what you would do is go back to that person and say, this is Mia Voss. Would you be interested in meeting her? Does that make sense? Because a lot of us, we get these random introductions all the time, 15 emails. You don't want to be a jack, you don't want to be an asshat and not respond. But think about how much time that takes you to go, what do you do, and figure them out and vet them. So what you can do is go ask that person, hey, would you like that introduction? Yes, I would. Go back to them and they have them send you an email. This is the handle, back to the handle, that you can easily carry. You send me an email, hey Mia, great to talk to you today. Per our conversation, I really want to meet so-and-so. Here's what I do, and here's why I want to meet them. I can forward that and I am done. I'm out. Right? So really that's been one of my biggest things is like, just ask me if I'd like the introduction. So that is adding value and letting people know that you value their time. All right? Ninja skills. Spidey sense. Does anybody have Spidey sense? It's intuition. It's trusting your gut. And you know how you get that? You meditate. You spend quiet time. I'm getting woo. I know it, but it's big. You spend quiet time, you get grounded, because when you're grounded, you get thrown off of balance not as much. I mean, it's really, really almost impossible. You can really suss things out. Talk about finding asshats. You start finding them a lot easier. You're like, nope, no thanks. I don't want to be around you. They're just not that into you. Be okay with somebody just not being just not that into you. Remember that book? It makes sense. So instead of trying to convince and convert, and you're trying to convince somebody and you're talking about your business and they're really not that into you, it's okay. You go find somebody who's crazy about you. Back to the dating analogy. Stop trying to like me. Be for profit. I know that one, again, sounds like a no-brainer, but a lot of times we feel like we have to be altruistic or give our time away. Save your time for the people you know will appreciate it and make some money. Revenue-generating activities, that's another drink one. And then there's the hard stop no. So this can be the hardest thing for somebody. A lot of times you get invited to something, you say no, and then you go into this huge, long explanation. Stop it. It's the hardest thing, by the way, to stop. To just say, no, that's not going to work for me, but please, keep me in mind. Hard stop, period. Because when you start explaining, you're giving all your energy and your power away. But again, it's really hard. Try it. If you have been like, no, but maybe and you start negotiating, just save your energy again. So a couple other time savers, just to get really practical, is having a CRM, a customer relationship manager. Now, I'm not getting paid for this. I'm going to tell you right now, I love Nimble. And I love Nimble. I know BK loves Nimble. Mark Cuban apparently loves Nimble. I just saw that on their website. So what I love about Nimble is you can pick up social signals as well. So it'll see what the people that you put in there have tweeted or any kind of post. It'll attach to your email as well and pull that up so you can say, I haven't talked to this person in 4 months. One of my favorites, and I think it's like $12.99 a month if you don't pay for the whole year. Evernote is big. BK is really big on that. Do you have a link or anything to some of your, have you done anything on Evernote or downloads? Or is that, okay, so talk to Brian. When I say BK, it's Brian Kramer, BRY. And that one is great. You can have that on your phone. I use that a lot for taking audio notes, right? If I'm somewhere and I don't want to write it down, Evernote is perfect for capturing a lot of information. Calendar program is really important. So this whole, let's have a phone date. So instead of this back and forth, sorry, I missed your, you just literally can have this calendar program and you can send that to somebody. Calendly, I think, do you guys use that a lot? That, by the way, also exerts your power. Because if you're the first one to send that and say, let's make an appointment. Here are my times that you've taken control because you've already set what works for you. Now, here's another tip for this. If somebody comes back to you and has completely ignored it and come up with different dates, I'm going to say they're probably an asshat. So red flag. If they're not even paying attention at that point, it's not a good start at all. And then a video conference program. So of course, sometimes you can do Facebook video. I like Zoom because you can record it, which is great. So I saw a thumbs up. I think that one's free too, right? Zoom is. I mean, it's up to a certain amount of time. So, let the person know you're recording that, but that's fantastic because then you can stay focused and go back to that program. So I think by the end of the day, you guys feel like this. Right? The fire hose. So I'm gonna wrap this up and then we can have more drinks, right? So bottom line, being diligently strategic with your time will give you more time to connect with that perfect community. That's the more time thing. And that, my friends, is all I got to say.